Imagine this: a quiet street at dusk, the kind where shadows stretch long and secrets whisper in the wind. But what if I told you that in just one heartbeat, a single act of cruelty could unleash a storm of justice so fierce it shakes the ground? Stick with me, because by the end of this tale, you'll feel that rush of empowerment, that spark of hope that reminds us kindness always wins. And hey, if this hook has you gripped already, do me a favor, smash that like button and hit subscribe to The Kind Hearts Stories for more tales that touch your soul and lift your spirits. Now, let's dive in. Chapter 1. In the heart of a bustling small town named Elmwood, where the sunsets painted the sky in hues of orange and purple, lived a woman named Maya Thompson. She was a 35-year-old single mother, her skin a rich ebony that glowed under the streetlights, her eyes holding the wisdom of generations who had fought for dignity and respect. Maya worked 2 jobs, days at the local diner, serving coffee with a smile that could melt the iciest heart, and nights as a community organizer, advocating for equality in a place still scarred by old prejudices. One fateful evening, as she walked home from a long shift, her arms laden with groceries for her young son, Jamal, a roar shattered the peace. A gang of bikers, leather-clad and revving their engines like thunder, pulled up beside her. They were the Iron Wolves, notorious for their rough ways and unspoken bigotry, led by a burly man named Jax with a sneer that twisted his face into something ugly. "Hey, you!" Jax barked, his voice laced with venom as he dismounted his bike, his cronies circling like vultures. Maya froze, her heart pounding, but she held her head high, refusing to cower. "What do you want?" she asked calmly, though fear clawed at her insides. Jax laughed, a cruel sound that echoed off the buildings, and without warning, he raised his hand and slapped her cheek hard, the sting burning like fire. The groceries tumbled to the ground, apples rolling into the gutter. His friends howled with laughter, their bikes idling menacingly. But Maya didn't flinch, instead, a quiet fire ignited in her eyes. She had faced worse, whispers at work, stares in stores, but this was different. This was assault, pure and raw. As the pain throbbed, she whispered under her breath, "Not today." Unbeknownst to the bikers, Elmwood wasn't just any town, it was a community woven tight with bonds of loyalty. Hidden in the shadows, a group of locals, friends Maya had helped over the years, watched in horror. There was Old Man Hargrove, whose house Maya had saved from foreclosure with her organizing skills, Sarah, the librarian whose child Maya tutored, and young Rico, a reformed troublemaker she'd mentored. They emerged like guardians, phones in hand, recording every second. But it wasn't just evidence they brought, it was action. Rico, swift and strong from his boxing days, stepped forward first, his voice booming, "Back off." The bikers turned, surprised, but Jax swung wildly. In that chaos, the community surged. Sarah called the police, Hargrove blocked the bikes with his truck, and others formed a human shield around Maya. The slap had awakened a sleeping giant of unity, and as sirens wailed in the distance, the bikers realized their mistake. 1 second after the slap, their world tilted, literally, as Rico's precise punch sent Jax sprawling, his bike toppling with him. The others scattered, but the ground met them hard, their egos shattering on the pavement. Maya stood tall, her cheek red but her spirit unbroken, surrounded by allies who proved that one act of kindness repaid could topple mountains of hate. Chapter 2. As the dust settled on that Elmwood street, Maya wiped a tear from her eye, not from pain, but from the overwhelming wave of love crashing over her. The bikers, now humbled and handcuffed by arriving officers, muttered apologies that fell flat against the night's air. Jax, nursing a bruised jaw, glanced at Maya with something akin to regret, but it was too late for empty words. The video from the locals' phones went viral overnight, sparking a movement that rippled far beyond the town's borders. People shared stories of their own encounters with prejudice, turning pain into power. Maya became a symbol, her story featured on news outlets, inspiring rallies and workshops on empathy and justice. Back home, Jamal hugged her tight, whispering, "Mom, you're a superhero." She laughed through her emotions, bandaging her cheek while baking his favorite cookies, the aroma filling their modest kitchen like a warm embrace. But the true healing came from the community. The next day, a fundraiser organized by Sarah raised enough to send Jamal to college one day, and Hargrove fixed Maya's leaky roof for free. Even Rico, who had once been on the wrong path, found purpose in starting a youth program to teach self-defense and respect. The Iron Wolves faced charges, their gang dissolving under the weight of public scrutiny, with Jax eventually seeking counseling to confront his deep-seated biases. Months later, Maya walked that same street, now lined with murals of unity, hands of all colors clasped together. She paused at the spot where it happened, feeling not anger, but gratitude for the lesson it taught, that cruelty's echo can be drowned by compassion's roar. Strangers stopped her, sharing how her story changed them, igniting kindness in hearts once cold. One evening, as the sun dipped low, Maya received a letter from Jax himself, admitting his wrongs and vowing to change, a small victory in a larger battle. She forgave, not for him, but for her own peace, knowing forgiveness was the ultimate strength. Elmwood transformed, becoming a beacon of inclusivity, where differences were celebrated, not feared. Maya's journey reminded everyone that in the face of adversity, standing together could make even the mightiest fall. And as she tucked Jamal into bed, reading him tales of heroes, she whispered, "Kindness isn't weakness, it's the force that moves the world." The emotional tide of that night lingered, a testament to human resilience, proving that from one slap could rise a symphony of solidarity, echoing forever in the kind hearts that refused to break. Wow, what a rollercoaster of emotions, right? If this story moved you and left you inspired, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to The Kind Hearts Stories for more uplifting tales that celebrate the power of compassion. Your support means the world.